Hello students, we shall continue the topic of remote sensing. Today we shall understand the applications of remote sensing. As we know, remote sensing is a scientific technique that involves in gathering of information of the earth. This technology is widely used in many of the fields. First to start with is application of remote sensing in forestry or forest resource management. Remote sensing is used to monitor the biodiversity of the wide forest area. It helps in checking or controlling the processes of deforestation or desertification. Since these are placed at a very remote areas, gathering of information of such areas is very difficult. But satellites and microwave remote sensing will provide the information related to the biodiversity, deforestation as well as desertification of forests. This next important application of remote sensing in forestry is to maintain and map wildlife habitat. Habitat refers to the dwelling place of the wildlife. Most of the human beings go for hunting and disturb the habitats of the wildlife. So such disturbances can be easily identified by using remote sensing. The next field in which the remote sensing finds its applications is agriculture. Widely used technology in agriculture is remote sensing. It is because we can easily identify the conditions of the crops. The health assessment can be done of the crops. The crop yield estimation can also be easily done by remote sensing. Mapping of the soil characteristics. Soil characteristics are very important to sow a particular seed. So the characters of the soil can easily be assessed by using remote sensing technology. And also helps in the crop pattern. Patterning of crop refers to what kind of crop should be grown in what kind of soil. So this is also related to crop rotation. Then monitoring of farming practices. Easily we can identify what kind of crops are having the problem with a related geographical area, and the issues can be easily resolved if the information is brought to the notice of the scientific community. Then it also helps in management of horticulture. The next application of remote sensing finds in the fields of geology or mineral resources. Information on the earth surface deposits and lithological mapping. Lithological mapping refers to mapping of the rock types, can easily be done by the remote sensing. Then it also helps in mineral exploration, mean to say which particular area has got a particular type of mineral content in it. That can be mapped by using the remote sensing, and thereby helps in the process of mining, that is extraction of that mineral content. The next application of remote sensing is related to hydrology or study of the water. It includes majorly oceanography. If the water body is very small, easily we can get the information related to it. We know that the earth is covered by 3/4 of the water resources. So the geographical area of 3/4 is, since it's covered over by the water resources, the information what we gather from these water resources is very difficult. So, is the use of remote sensing technology. It is used to monitor and map the wetlands and site selection of the hydropower. Electricity generation through water is called hydropower. So, the site where the hydropower could be generated can easily be identified by using this remote sensing technology. It also helps in knowing the water content in dams. How much of water is present in a particular dam can easily be identified by using the remote sensing technology, which we call it as reservoir capacity. Then it also gives details about the other water bodies such as river, lake, oceans, etc. So, here is a picture which depicts the water reservoir capacity of a particular dam. The next is, it helps in mapping the thickness of the snow or glacier dynamics. We know that most of our freshwater resource, mean to say reservoirs, are mainly due to the glacier sources. If you look at the river content, river numbers and their origin, most of them are from the glacier region. So, glacier refers to ice laden areas. So, the thickness of the snow or the ice or glacier location is very important thereby to give or to generate the drinking and potable water in the river banks. So, the glacier dynamics and thickness of the snow can be identified by using remote sensing technology. Then, snow melting water ratio. We know we are all suffering right now the problem of global warming. So, this global warming is a pathetic condition related to the environment. It has led to disturb many of the equilibrium that happens in the environment and the ecosystems. Due to high temperature in the atmosphere, we can find there is change in the atmospheric gases in their concentration, and the ice of the glacier location is getting melted soon, and the rivers are getting filled with much of the water. A day may come where the ice formation may not take place, and we may suffer from the drought conditions. So, to monitor all this, this technology of remote sensing is very useful. It is also useful in mapping the floods. Remote sensing finds its application in the estimation of the groundwater. Earlier, we had the very different kind of technologies which were used to estimate the groundwater. But right at present days, we have remote sensing a way of identifying or estimating the groundwater level. Then it also helps in mapping storms and oil spills that are seen on the oceans and sea. Oceans and sea faces the very biggest problem of oil spills. We know the ships will keep on spilling the oil, and that oil gets floated on the water, which disturbs the life of the sea. So, to overcome this, we have developed the genetically modified microorganisms, for example, Bacillus thuringiensis, which cleans up these oil spills. It is a biotechnologically modified or genetically modified organism which feeds on this oil spills and thereby protects the coastal life. Students, remember the quantity of oil spills at the coastal area can be easily identified by using the remote sensing technology. Remote sensing technology is also used to monitor the coastal areas such as shoreline changes, that is the shores of the sea and oceans, track sedimentation transports, then mapping of the coastal features. So, these are all the important applications related to hydrology and oceanography of remote sensing. Next, we have applications of remote sensing in disaster management. As we know, disaster is something that happens accidentally in the environment or in nature, which is out of the control of the human beings. Such natural devastations that are created in the environment and the ecosystem can be mapped by using this technology of remote sensing. So, disaster management, as it includes earthquakes, floods, landslides, forest fire, cyclones, drought, all these disasters can easily be, the devastations of the disasters can easily be identified by the remote sensing technology. Here is a picture which shows the intensity of earthquake that takes place in the deeper earth crust. Then, the next application remote sensing finds is in the field of land. So, land mapping. How exactly? When we look at in this picture, you can see an organized way of the plots. It is because of remote sensing technology. The land can be distributed for the urban planning, which includes the land for recreational use, residential use, industrial use, can easily be divided by using remote sensing technology. The next field in which remote sensing finds its application is prediction of the weather, which we call it as meteorology. So, meteorology helps in prediction of the weather and monsoon prediction, that is related to the rainfall. Remote sensing is also used to monitor atmospheric changes such as the concentration of the various atmospheric gases, which could include emission of the methane, intensity of carbon dioxide, ozone, water vapors, etc., which will disturb the atmospheric layers. Remote sensing is also used in the military field to guard the line of control. Also helps in air trafficking in the aviation. Not only air trafficking, it is also used in road trafficking also nowadays. Here is a slide which we have already learnt in the previous video, where application of remote sensing finds its way in various fields. Overall, remote sensing finds its application in most of the fields of our day-to-day life. One important application that we have to remember is GPS. GPS system works on the basis of remote sensing, and our mobile towers, signal transmission in mobile towers also makes use of this remote sensing technology. So, likewise we have to, we are dependent on the remote sensing technology so much that this has eased our work, our lifestyle very comfortably. Fine students, remote sensing also has some of limitations, that is drawbacks. Number one, cost of collection and purchase of data is very high, so it is non-economical. Then analysis of the data, interpretation of the data is also finds problematic. Then resolutions of the data and our information, what the sensors can sensitize, will find its difficulty during different climatic conditions. As we have understood, satellite remote sensing cannot work during the cloudy and rainy conditions. So this is about the importance of limitations. And a very important aspect related to drawback is the production for a satellite. It takes years of time, but when it comes to the functional aspect, if it goes with a failure, whatever the money of crores of investment that we have done and time period that we have taken in the construction of the satellite all goes waste. So this is the important drawback related to the remote sensing technology. Students, remember, application part of remote sensing technology is very important for a major question, 10 marks question. So it is a usually repeated question in most of the years of question papers. So its most repeated question related to remote sensing unit. So you will have to learn application part of remote sensing thoroughly. If you have any queries, please contact me through the WhatsApp number. Thank you all. Wish you a very good day.